Hi students, welcome back. We are in chapter metals or non-metals of your class 10. Same chapter you have learnt in your grade 8, and in your grade 10 you will get topics which are related to your grade 8. So what are the concepts you have learnt in your grade 8 regarding physical properties of metals and non-metals, chemical properties of metals and non-metals? All concepts you will get in 10th with some new information. So in this video, let us try to understand physical properties of metals and non-metals which already have learnt in your grade 8. Let us start our concept. First, this is introduction part of your chapter metals and non-metals. This is your third chapter in chemistry. This is third chapter in chemistry, and while coming to your board examination, 5 marks are allocated for this chapter. If you learn this entire chapter, you would be in position to get 5 marks. While coming to physical properties of metals and non-metals, first we will see physical properties of metals. First, we know there are many materials, right? Materials are classified into 3 types mainly. First one, it is metal. Number 2, non-metal. Third one, metalloid. Here we are going to talk only about metals and non-metals. We are not going to talk about metalloid. But while coming to metalloid, what is meant by metalloid? Metalloid is a substance which has property of metal at the same time properties of non-metal. Sometimes it behaves like metal, sometimes it behaves like non-metal. But in your class 10, we are not going to discuss about metalloid. We are going to discuss about metal and non-metal. Now, you see this first point? The easiest way to start grouping substance is by comparing the physical properties. If you understand physical properties of any metal, it would be so easy for you to understand its characteristic. Now, take some samples of iron. Symbol Fe stands for ferrum, aluminium Al, magnesium Mg. Note the appearance of each sample. So if you look at iron, aluminium and magnesium, how it looks. Now try to clean the surface of each sample by rubbing with sandpaper. Why we need to rub with sandpaper? In chapter 1 we have learnt one topic. Whenever you take metal, when it is exposed to oxygen, automatically on surface of that metal, layer is formed, right? To remove this layer, we need to rub with sandpaper. Now take these 3, iron, aluminium and magnesium, try to rub with sandpaper and try to see their appearance. If you observe their appearance, it will be shining. It will have shining surface. When a metal is shining, that property is called luster. By this, what we can understand? Maximum metals, all metals will have property called luster. Next, take some pieces of iron. Iron symbol, it is Fe, copper Cu, aluminium Al, magnesium Mg, and try to cut these metals with sharp knife. So take one iron bar, or you can take one copper bar. Try to cut this with the help of knife. What can you do? Get it? It will be so hard for you to cut that metal into 2 pieces by using knife, isn't it? By that, what we can understand? Metals are hard. Metals are rigid. Next property. Take iron, Fe, zinc, Zn, lead, Pb, copper, Cu. place any one metal on block of iron. You can take iron block, try to place small piece of copper or small piece of lead zinc, just try to hammer it. So use one hammer, try to hammer it. What do you observe? You can observe this small piece of metal becomes sheet, isn't it? Sheet. What is the property of making metals into sheet? It is called malleable or malleability. That property is called malleability, and most of the metals you can see those metals are malleable, right? Now you can observe gold and silver are most malleable metals. If you observe your grade 9 structure of atom chapter, Rutherford, that Rutherford did one experiment called alpha ray scattering experiment, if you remember. While doing alpha ray scattering experiment, Rutherford used one metal, that is gold. He used gold foil. Why he used gold foil? Because gold is the metal which is most malleable metal. You can make very, very thin sheet of gold. Now you take examples of iron Fe, copper Cu, aluminium Al, lead Pb, and if you try to hammer it or if you try to stretch it, you can observe all these metal become wire. You can make it into wire, isn't it? Now the property of which metals can be drawn into wire is called ductility, and most of the metals are ductile in nature. Most of the metals are ductile in nature. Now you see gold again. Gold is most ductile metal. How much big wire you can get? You can get nearly 2 kilometer length wire by using only 1 gram of gold. So by using 1 gram of gold, you can get nearly 2 kilometer long wire. That much ductile metal is gold. That information you can get from this. It is because of their malleability, ductility, metals can be different shapes according to our needs. If you see jewelry, while coming to jewelry, we will use gold, silver, platinum. If you observe, we will use copper also for sake of jewelries, and because of malleability, because of ductility, all these metals, not only these, but you can observe iron which is used while construction of buildings, dams, bridges. Iron can be used, aluminium can be used as frames. So all these metals can be given different shapes according to our needs. In our daily life, we'll use all these metals with different shapes. How we can get the different shapes? Because of malleability and because of ductility. Next, while coming to this diagram, you might have observed this diagram in your class 8. Of course, you can get the same diagram in your class 10 textbook. In these two textbooks, you can observe this one. So this is stand which is fixed. Stand which is fixed. There is one clamp. To the clamp, they have attached one metal wire, or you can attach one metal rod also. Now take candle wax. Try to add 1 or 2 drops of candle wax here and arrange one pin or iron nail. You can arrange pin or iron nail such that try to arrange one burner, or you can arrange one candle, lit it. Because of the fire, what happens when heat is given at one place to the metal, automatically heat will be carried from one place to another place in the same metal. Hence, this wax will melt. After melting, automatically this pin would fall down. In 8th class, you have learnt about the concept conduction. Conduction. What is meant by conduction? In metal, consider there are particles in metal. If you try to heat at this end, because of temperature, particles will vibrate. Because of temperature, particles will vibrate, and this vibration is carried from one point to another point in the same metal. Hence, this temperature will be carried from this A point to this B point. Same thing is happening here. You can consider this one as point A. Where we have placed candle is point A. Where we have placed iron nail is point B. In metals, there will be particles. When temperature is given at one point, because of temperature, particles will vibrate in their mean position. Because of vibration, heat energy is carried from one point to another point. Hence, we can call conduction, or metals are good conductors of heat energy. Good conductors of heat energy. So by this we can say metals are good conductors of heat. At the same time, they have high melting points. High melting point in the sense, to melt one metal, least heat energy is not sufficient. To melt, it needs high temperature. That is the point you can get from that. Next, the best conductors of heat are silver and copper. Silver metal is very good conductor of heat. At the same time, copper is also good conductor of heat. And we have two metals, lead and mercury. Lead is represented with the symbol Pb. Mercury is represented with the symbol Hg. These two metals are poor conductors of heat energy. Poor conductors of heat energy. You must remember this. Next, do metals also conduct electricity? Of course, yes. Metals are good conductors of electricity. You can see small arrangement battery, which is connected to wire, and bulb is fixed, and which is connected to one switch. Here you can observe one opening at B point, one opening at A point, and it is connected to battery again. There is a space, insert sample to be tested. This diagram you can find in your textbook. What sample we can insert? You can insert first one metal. Second sample what you can insert? It is of course non-metal. In which case you can observe bulb glows in case of metal. If you arrange any metal in between this gap is filled, it becomes closed circuit, automatically bulb glows. So from this concept what we can understand? Metals are good conductors of electricity. So let us try to revise this one. Metals are solids. Maximum all metals are solids and metals are rigid. And there is some exception, that is mercury. Next, metals are hard. I told you that is rigid. Metals are hard. Maximum metals are hard in nature, but lithium, potassium, sodium. Lithium Li, potassium K, sodium Na, which we can cut with a knife. Easily we can cut with a knife. So these three metals are not hard. And also we can learn something from this one. Sodium metal, potassium metal reacts very vigorously with oxygen and water. In chemical properties we will learn regarding this one. Water, so that only this sodium and potassium are not stored separately. They are stored in a liquid called kerosene. That we will learn in our next video regarding chemical properties. Next, metals have metallic luster. Luster in the sense shine. Maximum metals will shine, so that only we will use in making jewelry items. Metals are malleable, can be beaten into sheets. You can observe iron sheet. In Rutherford experiment, you can observe gold sheet, gold foil. If you go to any bakeries, on sweets, they will cover that sweet with silver foil, right? These all are sheets. Metals are ductile, can be drawn into wire. Whenever you observe electric cables, you can observe copper wire, aluminum wire. These metals are beaten into sheets, at the same time they can be drawn into wires, and which are used as electrical cables. By this we can say metals are ductile in nature. Metals have high melting point. I told you to melt any metal. If you wanna melt a metal, if you want to melt metal, I told we need high temperature. But there are some exceptions. Gallium, cesium, these two metals which have very low melting point. How much low melting point? In the sense, they melt in the palm of hand. If those metals reach to our body temperature, automatically that will melt. And metals have high boiling points. To boil this metal, first of all, metals will be in solid state. That solid state should become liquid state, and that liquid should boil. To happen this one, we need very high temperature. That's what it is, high melting point and high boiling point. Metals are good conductors of heat. And in that, silver, copper is very best conductor. While coming to poor conductors, lead and mercury. Because of good conductors, if you see electric stove, electric oven, iron boxes, we will use metallic conductors only. Metals are good conductors of electricity. In that, silver is very best metal, best conductor of electricity, but we will not use silver for our electric appliances because of cost. So that we use copper, at the same time aluminum for high transmission wires. Next, metals are sonorous. Sonorous in the sense which produce sound when it is beaten. So these are physical properties of metals. While coming to non-metals, you see maximum metals are solids, but while coming to this non-metal, you can find non-metal in form of solids, liquids, at the same time gaseous. There are some examples, like you take carbon can be obtained in form of solid, sulfur powder, phosphorus, you can observe these all in solid state. Carbon represented with C, sulfur S, phosphorus P. Next, liquids. Bromine is non-metal which will be in liquid state. Bromine represented with Br. Next, while coming to gases, all gases are non-metals, of course. Oxygen O, hydrogen H, nitrogen N, like that. There are solid non-metals, liquid non-metals, and gaseous non-metals. Next, non-metals are soft. Maximum non-metals are not hard. They are not hard. They are soft. But there is one exception, that is diamond. Diamond is hardest natural substance and hardest non-metal, which is an allotrope of carbon. We will learn regarding that allotrope in our chapter 4, carbon and its compounds. Next, non-metals do not have luster, means non-metals do not shine. There will be no shining for non-metals except iodine crystals. Iodine crystal is the only non-metal which will shine. You may get doubt whenever you see some tiles, you see some bench, you see some other plastic, it will be shining, isn't it? Some tiles, something, it will shine. Why it will shine means because of polishing. Because of polishing, and that is not its nature. Next, non-metals are not malleable. We cannot draw into sheets. You cannot, because that will not be rigid. It is not rigid, so that it will break. Non-metals are not ductile also. We cannot make any non-metal into wire. If you make it, it will not be rigid, it will break. Non-metals which are solids and liquids have very low melting points. Just small temperature is enough. You see example of plastic. You can melt that plastic by using small match stick, isn't it? If you take paper, just a candle flame is enough to burn that one. Like that, all non-metals need low melting point, will have low melting point, and it will have low boiling point. Whenever there is high melting point, there will be high boiling point. Whenever there is low melting point, there will be low boiling point. You have to remember. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat. Every non-metal is bad conductor of heat. It will not conduct heat energy. While coming to electricity, non-metals are bad conductors of electricity, but only one exception, that is graphite. If you take pencil, in pencil you can find that graphite. That graphite is good conductor of electricity. And non-metals are not sonorous. Non-metals do not produce sound. So that is the concept about physical properties of metals and non-metals. In our next video, we are going to talk about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Guys, if you like this video, share this video to your friends, and we'll meet in next video. Thank you.